What is up, guys? Today we're gonna check out a case that I picked up from Amazon. Now this case is a little bit different. I picked it up specifically to protect the camera lens on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. You guys already know the lens is pretty big. It takes a large amount of the back panel, and all those cases out there that offer a lot of protection for the back panel and the overall of the phone, they don't really protect the lens. And you guys know that the camera is one of the biggest factors of this phone, especially for what you're paying for. Now this case was made by a company named Nilkin. It cost me around $15. It was about $13.99 plus taxes. I ended up paying close to a little bit more than $15. Now for a type of case like this, for the protection, this type of case, usually they sell between $10 and $12. Of course, this one you have that extra feature that allows you to protect the camera lens. Is it worth it? Well, I don't think it was worth it, but I'm going to tell you why. But also I'm going to tell you what I like about the case. So if you don't mind about paying that much money for it, you probably want to pick it up. Let's get into the overall design. In the back, it's just going to have, it's just the normal patterns, the usual patterns that you get on this type of cases. The material of it is not soft TPU. It's more of a hard shell TPU. It's not going to be soft at all. And as you guys remember, I reviewed many of the cases, a lot of them from Rinky. They're more of the soft TPU flexible material. You're not going to get that on this case. It just feels like it's just a hard shell case. One thing that I can tell you is not going to add a lot of protection to the overall panel of the phone or the back panel of the phone. So if you're worried about dropping it and damaging it, then this case is probably not going to be for you. Overall, the color, I ended up picking up the black one. It's not the dark black. It's more of a wash off black. It doesn't look bad, but I wish it was just a little bit darker, just based on what I'm used to from other cases that I picked up before. Overall, the cutouts are on point. There's no issues with the microphone, the charging port. The buttons were a little bit hard at first when I first picked it up. They were just not easy, or they were just not that user friendly. What I did is I ended up breaking it. I took the phone out of it and I just kept pressing on the buttons, just trying to make them soft, and it helped a little bit. I mean, it's not super soft. It's not really hard. I wish it was a little bit easier to click on it, but it's usable. The cutout for the S Pen is not the best. It's not big enough. You can definitely get the S Pen in and out, no problems, but you do have to use your nail. If I don't use my nail, it's pretty much impossible to get the S Pen out for me, especially because I do have large hands. Now the overall protection, you do have some lip protection on the bottom and on the top if you do happen to put the phone face down. I feel like, they could have added a little bit more of lip protection. It's just the lip is very minimum. Definitely they could have done a little bit more. I know they've done some improvements on some of the older models for the S20. Older models that they had before, they did not have the lip protection, so they definitely make some improvements. On the sides, this is where the imperfections start showing up. As you can see, right on the edges, you can see the frame of the phone. So this case doesn't really snug, or it doesn't go all the way around. And also on the bottoms, you can see the frame. So it's, again, this is one of those cases that they shouldn't be worth $15. It's more of those cases I usually pick up for about $7, $6 that you just use temporarily. And this is where it starts showing, especially where the S Pen is. If you look on the bottom, there's a significant gap that you can see where the phone is not touching the bottom of the case. Getting the case on the phone was not hard to remove it. If you just do it from the bottom, you pop one corner, it's pretty easy to take off. The overall material, it's not slippery, but doesn't give you that grip that you should be getting on a case. Especially when it was new, it was pretty slippery. I'm getting used to it. It's not so bad. I did notice that it will absorb some of the oils from your skin, and it will start reflecting on the light. But it is easy to clean, so I haven't had the issues with that. It does work with PowerShare and wireless charging. I didn't do a test as how much it impacts the overall charging, but it works. The inside of the case is just very flat, basically just a hard shell. It's not going to have impact resistant, or it's not going to have anything to absorb the impact if you happen to drop the phone, compared with some of the other cases. But enough about that. Let's look at the main feature of this case, and that's going to be the shield cover, or the cam shield, or just basically the protection for the camera lens. And the way it works is just basically it's all plastic. There's no metal. The way they design it is where there's a sliding door that it has little grooves on the outside where you can use your nail to slide it in and you slide it out. And what happens is once you close it completely, it's gonna have a little latch in there where it will hold it so it's not loose or it's not coming off easily. So you got to put a little bit of pressure to open it. And again, once you open it, once it reaches all the way at the end, it's gonna hold secure where it's not moving around easily. So that's really good. When it comes to opening and closing it, it was a little bit hard at first. As I'm using it more and more, it's becoming more easier to do it. Now, this is a huge warning if you do plan on getting this case. If you happen to get it and you want to open the door, slide it open, you have to make sure you do not use the pressure of your thumb and just pressing down on the actual sliding door, because what's going to happen is, if you can see, you can actually press, you're not even pressing hard enough, and you can actually have the plastic door touch the lens. So if you put enough pressure in there, you're gonna end up scratching the camera lens, and then it's gonna defeat the purpose. And I've seen a lot of online that with the older models, people show some pictures where they did show some damage to the lens. Other than that, if you just use your nail and you just slide it from where the sections, the areas where it's marked, I think you're gonna be fine. I did check out the zoom-in microphone. As you can see, there's not a significant opening, or there's not a huge gap. I did a couple of sample tests without the case and with the case, and I did not notice a significant change. So I don't think this is gonna impact the zoom-in microphone. So now I feel more comfortable when I'm walking around with the phone. When I put it in my pocket, I'm not so concerned that if I have something in my pocket, or when I drop it or I put it somewhere, if I hit the lens, I'm not gonna smash it, I'm not gonna shatter it that easily. One thing that it started to bother me is that if I do want to use the camera, I always forget that I have the latch on or that is closed. So I turn the camera on, and then I have to go turn the phone on and open the door and make sure I'm able to see it. It's not gonna be like before where you can just get the camera out and start shooting and recording. That's something to keep in mind. Also, if you want to use the flashlight late at night, that's another thing. You just have to remember you do have to open the latch to be able to use the flashlight. It will change the design of the phone, because you're gonna have this whole panel on the top that is gonna change kind of how the look of the phone is gonna be. But if that doesn't bother you, it is something nice, because when you set the phone on the table, it kind of gives you a little bit of a tilt angle, so it's easier to use, or if you want to just use the phone when it's on the table. And the phone is not gonna swing back and forward, but it will swing like top and bottom if you start pressing a little bit on towards the top. Other than that, that's my thoughts, guys. I ended up paying, again, I paid a little bit more than $15 for this case. I honestly was expecting more for this price. I really thought that they were gonna use better materials, but it is what it is. I'm not super disappointed, but it's just not what I was expecting. Covering the lens, it's on point, it's there. Just gotta be careful when I'm using it, but the other protection goes out the window, as I feel that if I drop it, it's basically not gonna protect it, because it's not gonna absorb the shock when it hits the ground. It will protect it from scratches, but that's about it. Also, I forgot to mention that it should be pretty much friendly with most of the screen protectors, since basically it barely goes around on the top, bottom, and on the sides. But let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.